So I'm just gonna baby it off the line. I really don't wanna break anything. Let's, here goes nothing.
So if you guys are new to my channel, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoy it. And consider subscribing and hit that bell down below if you like these kinds of cars and projects. You know what I'm gonna say. This is my ultimate dream car. This is my 2009 Aston Martin DBS. It has a 6-speed manual, it has an awesome V12, and it is quite possibly the best looking car ever made, well, within the last 20 years. And in the last episode, I showed you exactly how much it took to maintain this car, and that was a little harder than I thought.
Come on, you can do it. You can, ow, that hurts. Let's try this again with a different arm.
On second thought, maybe going to the dealer wasn't such a bad idea.
Oh, finally, it is completely full of oil and is getting everywhere. I don't know how you're supposed to do this with the intake manifold in there. I think my hand's stuck and I can't get the filter out. Okay, well, I dropped it.
But I also told you guys that this car would be featured in the next Car Trek. If you guys don't know what Car Trek is, then please check it out on my channel. It's a show with me, Tyler Hoover, and Ed Bolian, and we go on all kinds of crazy adventures with cars we buy. And in the next one, we're gonna do cars like this, our personal ultimate dream cars, and I'm really, really excited about it. But that was in the last episode, and between that episode and this one, we filmed Car Trek. It's done, and I'm super, super excited about it. And it turns out my car's still in one piece, so that's good. Now I wanted to make sure that I brought a stock example to Car Trek, just so everybody could see what the car is capable of. But now is when we get to do things that I really want to do, and that is modify this car. So in this episode, we're going to install a lot of really cool parts and essentially give the performance of this car a complete overhaul. Well, because, I mean, the outside of it, the cosmetics are just, they're perfect. But if I'm honest, one thing that I've been sort of meaning to do on my own, since we're talking about makeovers and cosmetics, is sort of my own regimen. See, I haven't been taking care of myself as well as I'd want to, because honestly, I've been super busy with filming and wrenching and doing everything else that it takes to run a channel of this size, and I needed a little bit of help. And thankfully, I have the perfect help in today's sponsor, Geology. So if you guys haven't heard of Geology, then you're missing out, because they create personalized 2-step men's skincare routines designed with clean ingredients. Geology is doing things a little bit differently because they're making skincare super approachable to guys like me, guys that want a simple process for their skincare. All you'd have to do is head over to their website, take a free skincare quiz, and then they'll send you exactly what you need for your skincare regimen. And the routines are super simple. So step number 1 is wash anytime with their everyday face wash. And step number 2 is treat at night with their repairing night cream. It's just that simple. It literally is just that. So head over to the link in the video description below to take their free skincare quiz and save up to 40% off when purchasing your first personalized trial set. That's 40% off. And in addition, they're also hosting a Geology Cup for Gran Turismo in June, so definitely go check out their Twitch channel. The car looks really cool. So in the game, just go to the Discover option in your garage and search Geology, and you'll find their custom car there. It's like a Corvette C7R. Go check it out, and go check out the link in the video description below to get 40% off right now.
All right, let's begin. So this is the nicest car I've ever owned, and it's really refined. It's actually really, really nice to drive. And I don't want to make that go away, but this car needs a little bit, like 10-15% more rowdiness, and I think I have that right here. So this is an exhaust system, and oh, it looks so good. So this is a Valvetronic exhaust from VelocityAP, and VelocityAP makes a lot of really cool stuff for exotic cars, for Mercedes, for Lamborghini, for Aston Martin. In fact, they have some components on the factory Aston Martin race cars, which means that this basically makes my DBS a factory race car. That's definitely how that works. Now what we're gonna be doing today is taking off the back box, which is this guy right here. We're gonna take that off my stock car. We're also gonna take off the mid pipes because I have those here as well. These are a lot lighter, they flow better, and they're gonna make a better noise. So just to give you guys a little bit of a before and after, I'm gonna start up this car so you can hear what a cold start from an Aston Martin DBS sounds like. Actually, sounds pretty good. And then we're gonna install all of this and see how much better it sounds. Hopefully it sounds better. Hopefully I don't make it worse. That's not too bad, is it? All right, this is absolutely the most flattering of angles, but you'll just have to bear with me. So this is the underside of a Aston Martin DBS, and it's all aluminum, and it looks really, really clean. This car does have about 34,000 miles on it now after we did Car Trek, and well, it's no worse for the wear, thankfully. But what we're gonna change is, well, these pipes over here. So this is all the exhaust, and you can see it's really tucked up into the body here. But what we're gonna replace is not necessarily these things that you obviously can't see out on camera. I'll show you those later. But a lot of the exhaust is actually in really good shape, and it doesn't impede flow. What does impede flow are these guys right here. This is a big restriction, but we are eliminating this restriction, so it should flow better there. And then we're gonna go to the back of the car, which is where that huge muffler box is. But in order to get to this, I have to take off all these decorative panels, which are held on by about 1 billion T30 Torx bolts. So let's just take all these off and then see where we're at. Okay, working on this car is really not that difficult at all. So taking off this section was just 3 bolts on each side and then 1 bolt at the back at each side. So we got 8 bolts altogether, and none of them were really hard to reach. You can just get them with normal hand tools and off they go. So I am not gonna start this car with open headers, even though that's probably what a lot of YouTubers would do. I don't want to ruin anything, and I don't want fire to be spitting out and potentially damaging my very expensive car. But you can see right here, this is the stock pipe, and it is all very well kind of mandrel bent. There's no kinks in the line, and it's a really good diameter for what we're trying to do. So I don't need to change any of this. On some other Aston Martins, I know that you do change out these pipes to do like an X pipe, but since we're doing an X pipe back there, this is kind of superfluous. But let's take a closer look at this right here. So this is getting replaced with that. And you can see why. We're just getting rid of the restriction back here. You can see there's like, well, you can't see any light through there. Little bit. There's a honeycomb pattern, and here there's, well, it's just a pipe. It's just literally a pipe. I don't think I need to explain to you why this is less of a restriction than this. So let's put this in there, and then we'll get to work on that. Okay, let's take a look at what this is, because this is super heavy. I mean, it looks like a suitcase, and it certainly weighs the same as a suitcase. It's like 60 or 80 pounds. And I am really excited that we are getting rid of most of that, because if I try to lift this up, that's pretty heavy, and this really don't weigh nothing. So the way it works is the stock system is a valved exhaust. So take a look at these exhaust valves. These are vacuum operated. You see the little vacuum nipple right here. And these open up and close a flapper in the exhaust, and it closes or opens up a path inside the muffler for the exhaust to travel. Now, if you're in the muffled mode, if you're in the quiet mode, then it goes throughout the muffler like a regular muffler and it comes out quiet, but it does introduce some restriction. But if you're in party mode, which is what I had it on, because my car, I basically bypassed this. I made it go into the open mode the entire time. It just goes not necessarily straight through, but a more direct path, which makes it louder, gives it a little bit more flow, and gives it a little more power. But here, this is a completely redesigned system. You have an X pipe right here, which gives a lot of cross flow, and that actually is very good for scavenging. So I don't want to get too technical in what that is, but it essentially means that the pulses of the exhaust cross in such a way where they create like a vacuum Venturi effect, and that in turn gives you a little bit more power. At least that's the idea. The new valves go right here, and they just divert the gases into this muffler, which is a lot smaller than this huge suitcase looking thing. So without further ado, I think we should just install this and then see what this sounds like. I am so excited. Okay, so we're not quite done just yet. My hands are still very dirty, but everything is buttoned up. I just want to make sure that there's no egregious exhaust leaks or anything like that. I really want to turn this on and just hear what a new cold start sounds like. Okay, so welcome everyone to a road that is very straight, not unlike a runway. In fact, that's exactly what it is. So I'm gonna see how these modifications made my car feel, and I want to do it in a way where I don't have to worry about traffic, I don't have to worry about speed limits, to be honest with you. So the exhaust is one thing, but I also got the intakes. I got high flow air filters and also the VelocityAP tune, which is just a little bit of more spice on what is already a very spicy engine. But I'm a little bit nervous, so I'm just gonna baby it off the line. I really don't want to break anything. Oh. Here goes nothing. Oh! expecting that at all. At all. This sounds like my Lamborghini. And it's not ear piercing. I can talk to you. We can have a conversation. Well, we can't have a conversation. I'm just talking to a camera. But you get what I'm saying. Oh, wow. This thing is such a riot. Let's see what it does. Oh, so good. That's 100. 120. 130. And I hit the rev limit. And those brakes are really good. Temperatures, pressures, everything's fine. No warning lights. AC works. This is one sorted car. I was not expecting that at all. Yes! Okay, so this car is impressive. I mean, it was impressive before because it was just kind of the perfect package for performance and looks and comfort and everything, but now it is just that little bit more. Now, here's what I did just in case you guys missed it in the video. So I put on the VelocityAP exhaust. It is their Valvetronic exhaust back there. I then put on some high flow air filters just in front. So in order to do that, you actually need to take off the wheel lining, which is a little bit cumbersome, but I did that before I went out to Car Trek. So I did that, I did an oil change. We got the oil catch can in there in the last episode. All the spark plugs and all the coil packs were changed. So the engine runs super mint. The brakes are okay. There's no issues with the brakes because if there were, these would be like $5,000 each, something like $30,000 for rotors and pads and calipers. It's a lot of money for these brakes because they're carbon ceramic, but thankfully my brakes are all okay. And I also did a tire change. I got these brand new Michelin PS4S tires, and well, what I did is something that I do on all my cars, and that is undersize them when I use the Michelins, because a lot of times the Michelins, they run a little bit fat. So I undersized them by 10 millimeters. And to be honest, I think in the front it's fine, but in the back, it's a little bit stretched. So if you take a look at this, I don't know, it's a little bit stance nation. So I think in the back I'm gonna get some other tires. These are just a little bit too narrow and I'm not liking the gap here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some spacers for the back and the front. And then I think I'm gonna lower the car just very, very slightly, because if you take a look over here, it could use a little bit of a drop. I mean, just a very, very tiny drop. I don't want to slam it. I don't want to ruin the lines of the car. And I certainly don't want to hit anything on these carbon fiber front lip things. So this being a Valvetronic exhaust means that you can switch over between the loud and the quiet modes. And to be honest with you, I just want to live in loud mode because it's not really that loud, even though this is essentially just a straight pipe V12. I can't believe this is that quiet. But if you want to do a quiet mode, you can just put in the stock fuse. I think it's fuse 22 or 15 in this car, and then it'll just do its normal thing, which is quiet all the way up to 4,000 RPM, and then after that it'll open up the valve. The reason why I don't do that is because in stock form, when you downshift or you have to rev match, you can't hear this car do anything. The engine is more noisy than the exhaust, and I don't like that. It's very kind of inconsistent the way Aston Martin does it. I know that there's probably a module you can buy that will allow you to custom tune your exhaust as far as the valve opening. I don't really care about that. I really like the way the loud mode sounds. And if I really, really want there to be a quiet mode, I can always just put that fuse in. It's gonna be in the back, but for now, we're just gonna have a little bit louder Aston Martin, and it's gonna sound glorious. So that's gonna be it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I certainly did, because this car is now my favorite car, even though it was my favorite car before. I wanna give a big, big shout out to our sponsor, Geology. Go check them out in the link in the video description below. But that is gonna be it for this DBS for a little while on the channel because it's not really a project. It's something that I'd like to drive every once and again, and honestly, I'm probably gonna drive this every day. So what's gonna happen on the channel is we're gonna get into all the projects that were supposed to be finished and really were kind of left by the wayside for a while. I don't know, maybe you guys can clue me in on what those cars could possibly be. And in addition to that, in the coming weeks, we're gonna have finishes on the McLaren, we're gonna have new car reveals, we're gonna have lots of really, really cool stuff coming up, so hope you guys tune in for that. But until next time, this is me reminding you guys that on cars like this awesome DBS, with a V12 that now sounds like an old F1 car, you guys need to build them better, and to do that, you need to wrench every day.